With Constitution Day this week, I'm going to continue this series of short videos on the Constitution, and today we're going to be covering the Second Amendment. And a lot of people don't actually realize something about the Second Amendment is that it's created with a purpose, and the purpose is actually written into the text of the Second Amendment. It says, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." Now, this is problematic when viewed through the eyes of the parties because both of the mainstream parties currently hold that it is acceptable to have some amount of infringement on the right to bear arms, notwithstanding the Republican Party in particular claims to be much more pro-gun rights, so-called. And part of the dilemma here, of course, is, yeah, if you're Republican, everybody knows Republicans love their guns, and it is definitely true that, per the text of the amendment itself, it's not saying that you deserve to have guns so that you can go hunting. It's saying a well-regulated militia is necessary to the security of a free state. Or in other words, if you're going to be people who actually enjoy freedom, then you need a well-armed and regulated, that is to say, organized and trained and disciplined militia. This is in 10 U.S. Code section 246, militia composition and classes, and it specifically defines, it says, "The militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied males, at least 17 years of age, and so on, under 45 years, and who are or have made a declaration of intention to become citizens of the United States." So the Founding Fathers and the U.S. Federal Code even really don't tolerate super well the supposition that we're supposed to have a standing army. Rather, the people themselves are the militia, and the Constitution provides for the calling forth of the militia to repel invasions and insurrections. That's the body that's to be summoned when you're in distress and you need an army, as you call up the militia, which is the people themselves. And something I mentioned earlier about how the parties view the Second Amendment differently, but Republicans are still actually kind of anti-Second Amendment too, to some degree. This comes in the form of, for example, you've seen the Pam Bondi posts on X maybe, where she keeps on bragging about how there are all these so-called illegal guns that have been confiscated in Washington, D.C. That's unconstitutional. It's factually incorrect. There is no such thing as an illegal gun under the Constitution. How are you going to secure the freedom of your state if the people are not actually allowed to hold weapons that are of a sufficient quality and quantity to be able to guarantee that? And there are a lot of people who argue against the Second Amendment, saying, well, actually, you're not supposed to have like updated weapons. You can only have Revolutionary War era stuff. There's this presentist interpretation of the Constitution that says, well, they didn't conceive of these modern weapons, and therefore those must be disallowed. That's disproved by the text of the Constitution itself. It says it's necessary to the security of a free state. So that means everything has to be on the table as far as what citizens can own and operate to be able to secure their own safety and freedom against tyranny of the government, insurrection, and invasion.